What's going on, everybody? Easy Medicine here. I want to share with you some really easy tricks to identifying aortic, pulmonic, tricuspid, mitral, stenosis, and regurgitation. If you have any of these coming up on an exam, you're going to want to watch this video. Start off with a quick description of stenosis, regurgitation. Stenosis, that's narrowing of the valve. So a stenotic murmur happens when blood is flowing over a narrowed valve at a time when blood is supposed to be flowing over that valve. The contrary to that is regurgitation, which only occurs when blood is flowing over a valve that it is not supposed to be flowing over. It's not supposed to be flowing over it, but it is anyway because these valves are incompetent. So to figure out the murmur and get the diagnosis, you need to know two big things. Where's the murmur and when is it happening? When I say when, I'm talking about systole and diastole. Figuring out where, right? So the right second intercostal space, murmurs will be heard loudest here in aortic valve problems. Murmurs are heard loudest at the left second intercostal space during pulmonic valve problems. Left fifth intercostal space during tricuspid valve problems, and left fifth space, but a little bit midclavicular, or sometimes described as apical. That's a mitral valve problem. This is just a random grouping of letters. I don't know why the sounds come out this way, but I do know that all physicians take money. And this is the mnemonic I used to remember the arrangement of the valves on the chest. So all physicians take money for aortic, pulmonic, tricuspid, and mitral. You identify this, and then we can move on to the next part, which is, what is the valve doing when the murmur is heard? So we know from basic cardiac physiology that the tricuspid and the mitral valve are closed during systole, and the pulmonic and aortic valves are open. During diastole, the tricuspid and mitral valve are open, the pulmonic and aortic valve are closed. So this is really simple to figure out. If the murmur is heard over the tricuspid area during systole, that means that blood is flowing backwards through the tricuspid valve. We know that it must be backwards because blood's not supposed to flow over the tricuspid valve during systole. And the same could be said for the mitral valve. If we hear a murmur over the pulmonic valve during systole, we know that it has to be a stenotic pulmonic valve because blood is supposed to be flowing over the pulmonic valve during systole. You can apply this logic to every valve in the heart at every topographic location for auscultation during systole and diastole, and you will figure out, just like that, if it's tricuspid, pulmonic, aortic, or mitral stenosis or regurgitation. If you don't want to remember the little tricks there, you could just memorize this table over here. But I definitely would recommend really getting a grasp on all physicians take money, when the murmur is happening, and what that says about where blood is going over a valve at the time. Good luck on your exam.